That's us, Dad.
We're gonna go ahead and start.
Even that's Bradley to get close to some of our.
Wants to be.
You mean like the fees and breakfast?
She was wanting to pay somebody to do it.
A lot.
She didn't want to do it. She wanted to pay somebody.
They took a big figure out of it, but there's a lot more.
Well, that's good. Daniel, you ready? You ready to start? What are you calling? Huh? What are you calling?
Daniel. Rosie.
Ever ready?
And four posts holding up another four. Well, they've got the bottom structure built in.
And later.
They're working on the top.
Be here any minute.
If brains were dynamite, this guy wouldn't have enough. Jeez. He must.
All this special meeting of the Port Lavaca City Council to this Tuesday, May 27th, 2025 at 5:40 p.m. And we will skip the usual formalities. However, today we do have a special honor to present and to one of our employees. That's Lucio Butch Lucero with 25 years of service. Doing it today because Wayne and it would have been difficult for him to make it to our regular meeting, but we're gonna do this presentation. There he is. Yeah, sorry about the delay. Had a flat tire, I hit a train.
That caused the flat tire or? Didn't hurt the train, did you?
Oh, I don't know, I'll check later. Doing a presentation. Forward. I think it's found. City of Lavaca, thank you for appreciate it. Putting up with us for that long. Here we go. That's the important thing. However, since it's 25 years, we decided you needed a special award. So we have this 25th anniversary medallion, glass medallion that we. Wayne, is there anything you want to add? Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Which is
Great to have you.
Great job.
Five more.
You kept moving.
Fix that way, so I think
Probably use that other one.
Yeah, I'll try.
It's easier. With that.
Go back and forth. Couldn't figure out where to sit.
I was so confused, like, why did you hold back? I'm sorry, I at least love it.
Tried to hide behind the mayor.
Now, at this time, anyone that wishes to speak before council from the public may come up and do so. I'll ask if anyone is signed up to speak. No?
No.
I see no one here. So we will move on to our regular agenda items. It's agenda item 1, review and discuss the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality Violation Tracking Number 823013, status of engineering design of Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion and the $39.15 million loan commitment offer from the Texas Water Development Board for the Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion project. Jody?
Mayor, council, there is quite a bit of information that was put in your packet. Hope you had a chance to look at some of that. First, the TCQ violation tracking number 82031003. Very briefly is the violation that we have not begun construction on the expansion of the wastewater treatment plant. yet. And so that's kind of where, what that tracking number is with TCQ. And so by way of review, in your packet, I did include a copy of all the information that I had provided to council back in September of 2024. That includes all the TCQ correspondence beginning with the September 2022 notice of violation that we received through February 2023, as well as a copy of the Texas Water Development Board funding documentation. Now, in the packet tonight, I added some more recent documents. I added some compliance documentation submittal dated September 24th, 2024, that AECOM wrote to TCQ, just giving an update on where we were at with the alleged violations. Then on this December 17th of 2024, TCQ did conduct a compliance or comprehensive compliance inspection at the plant. In your packet is a copy of the exit interview form as a result of that. And you'll note that this violation track remains open. If you've got any questions about any of the other alleged violations that are in this exit interview, they have been resolved or being addressed, and Wayne would be able to answer any specific questions if you've got any. There's also a copy of the official notice of violation letter that we received February 21st, 2025, which is a result of this comprehensive compliance inspection. In that letter includes a history and the status of this violation track. And again, there's other alleged violations in that letter which have been resolved or are being addressed. Now, you remember last November, council approved AECOM task order number 8 in the amount of $1.36 million. That included them to move forward with the final design, the geotech, the environmental information document, the permit renewal, and bidding for this wastewater treatment plant expansion project. AECOM is still on target to have 90% complete engineering packet plans complete by the end of June. And with it, a cost estimate with a lesser contingency, which is anticipated to be 15%. The 39.15 million cost estimate that we're looking at right now was based upon a 30% contingency. And AECOM has been working with Wayne very diligently over the last 6 months, and they're telling me that they're confident that, you know, they're able to reduce that price tag, but they won't be starting to look at those costs again until they get to 80% complete, which should be the middle of June. And then hopefully we will have an updated cost estimate with the 90% complete plans the end of June, early part of July at the latest. To go over some recent activities that we have engaged in on this project, we have made a request to the Texas Water Development Board to extend the commitment offer for the 39.15 million until May 31st of 2026. Now, in our request, we explained that we need the extension to allow additional time to arrive at a better cost estimate and perhaps even bid the project to better determine the actual amount of funding needed, as well as complete and implement a utility rate study such that a new rate structure can be in place to generate the additional revenue needed to make these bond payments. The Water Development Board will be considering this request at their June 26th board meeting in Austin. We've also submitted a current discharge flow and other data to TCQ with a request to waive this requirement to begin construction until we reach closer to the 90% capacity. I've included a copy of that letter. At best, TCQ could feasibly approve this for the life of the current permit, which the current permit expires on August 31st, 2026. Any further extension requests or waivers would need to be included in the permit renewal application. Now, we budgeted funds this year to conduct a utility rate study. And I have asked and today actually received a proposal from New Gen Strategies and Solutions, who I met at the TML conference last year. And I was extremely impressed with them. And they have also performed a rate study recently for Bay City. I would like to have them under contract and have them able to start sometime in July. Once we have this updated expansion cost estimate and with an implementation target date of early 2026. In here also, I put a copy of AECOM's latest brief status report of their work on this project. Again, they're targeting the end of June to have a 90% complete package for us. Now, the Water Development Board loan commitment from the Water Development Board, it expires currently on August 31st of 2025. And it is for 39.15 million. Again, that was the cost estimate that AECOM developed last year, again, with a 30% contingency. So in order to close the loan by August 31st and not lose this funding opportunity, council would need to issue a notice of intent at least 45 days prior to the meeting where the vote would take place to approve the issuance. This would be done, it would be done by ordinance, so it needs to be done at a regular meeting. So it would need to happen at the August 11th regular meeting in order for it to close on or before August 31st. Dusty Trailer with our financial advisor will be here in a few minutes, and he can help explain some of this in more detail or answer your questions.
That's, it's two readings, all right?
For this, you only need one. For when you're for bonds, you only have to have one. Yeah. So the approval of the notice of intent tonight, everybody needs to understand that still does not obligate the council yet. If Water Development Board does in fact approve the extension, which we are hoping they will, and I'm not a betting person, but if I were, I think they will, but there is no guarantee. But if they do in fact approve the extension, we won't take any action in August and wait and do this again, probably in early 2026, depending on exactly what extension they allow us. Again, the same rules apply. We have to issue a notice of intent at least 45 days prior to the date on which we're going to issue bonds. And that has to be done by ordinance on a regular meeting and enough time that we can close by the date that Water Development Board, the expiration date of the commitment. So in your packages for information's sake, I've given some scenarios of, potential customer rate impacts. I mean, we've talked about this a number of times. The other thing to remember is that this loan is structured to where it can be paid back with a combination of rates, sewer rates, and property taxes. Again, that is something council can look at each year with the budget. We know that to use exclusively sewer rates, it's going to be a significant increase, particularly once we get to year 3 and beyond. The first 2 years, we'll just be having to pay interest. Once we start having to pay the principal, then it's going to go up, another 10 or more dollars after that.
Can we take the money as we need it, or do we have to take it all at once?
No, it's a loan. We have to take it. Right. And that's one reason why that I'm appealing. One of the reasons why I'm appealing to Water Development Board to give us a little more time, because we want to borrow. And I told them, I said, we understand, and they need to understand, and I think they do, that this is going to be a significant rate increase for our customers. And so we don't want to borrow more than we need. We want to borrow what realistically we need. And to know that, ideally, we take bids, because, you know, even if we'll get a better estimate, because the thing I don't want to happen, we have a good estimate, we close on the smaller number, and then the bids come in and they're higher, you know. I'd rather have time to actually bid the project and know exactly what we're dealing with.
Tell them they can invest it at 6% while we're waiting, and so they actually make.
Yeah. I mean, and we've talked about this before, that, you know, Water Development Board there are programs that are available to some cities for loan forgiveness, or grants. We simply do not qualify. We are just a little too rich. We're just above the line where we do not have that opportunity. And, you know, just being upfront, and, you know, I put in the memo some of the things that, you know, we're thinking about, or that we know it's coming up. I mean, again, we're not done with the water increases for GBRA. You know, as for the last 11 years, I guess now, and this will be the last year, you know, we've been increasing every year, paying for an additional 448 acre feet each year of the 4 million gallons a day that that GBRA has committed to us. This year will be the last year. This year coming up will be the last year that we'll finally be paying for the entire amount. So that's probably another, I think, I don't know, I remember typically increase.
It was 10% for 10 years, 10% a year.
Yeah, I guess I thought I put this in here, but I don't remember there'll be an increase this year for that amount. But then that's not, I don't want us to think, okay, then we're done, because every year GBRA also increases to some level that cost per acre feet. So although we'll be paying for the full acre footage, each year we'll also still have some additional, because, you know, they increase the cost per acre feet.
Yeah.
Right now, we're kind of getting a double whammy, because we're having to pay for the increased cost per acre feet, plus for an increased amount of acre feet we're paying for each year. You know, and GBRA was, I guess, nice enough to do this over 12 years.
Yeah.
Didn't do it all at one time. We've been paying 448 more acre feet each year over the last 12 years, I think.
Yeah, that actually was quite good of them to do.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done it overnight, but they spread it over 12 years. Again, just as a reminder, last year, we were able to absorb the increase from Undyne last year and did not increase rates. But once we get Undyne's 2025-26 budget, which we should get in July, then we'll need to sit down, huh?
No, that's the appraisal, but.
Yeah, we haven't got their budget yet. Then we'll need to sit down, it's depending on what it is. Is it something that can we hold off until we do this rate study?
They're doing more modifications to the plan.
I mean, what I can tell you is that I haven't got anything in writing from them, but they did report to me that they had, and I don't know if Wayne, if you've got any more information on this, but they did tell me that it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think they had a meeting with several engineering consultants on the trihalomethane issue, and they did get some recommendations from them that they are in the process of implementing. But I didn't get any details of what those are yet.
But the other hit is that Port O'Connor's, they're off Undyne, so we're gonna absorb that percent.
Correct, but in reality, it really doesn't affect us, because we're paying 4/6 of the cost, whether Port O'Connor's there or not. Because, yeah, we're paying it's by capacity.
Right.
So the capacity plant is 6 million gallons a day. We are contracted for 4. So we're paying for 4/6 regardless.
That's it.
So who absorbs?
They
do.
They do, you know, I mean, yeah, we're paying for, but in theory, you know, I guess some costs would go down because they're not making as much water. But our contract is 4/6 of the total regardless. So they're, rural water's paying, I forget what they've got, like 1.5, maybe.
So what they're doing out there now with the recommendations from the engineer is replacing filters or rebuilding the filters and readjusting injection points.
Without readjusting the injection points, is that just an adjustment or is that replacing equipment?
That's moving,
Moving the injection point.
Oh, okay, moving it from one place to another. So there's cost involved in that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Tim, could we kind of blame the wastewater increase on tariffs?
Only the cost maybe, but hopefully that's all gonna get settled.
Chemical cost is, right?
But so tonight, and I mean, tonight, there's a couple things that we're asking council to look at. Again, so that we're not committing to anything yet, but if we don't go ahead and issue this notice of intent, because we don't know if we're gonna get the extension. We can't wait until the time we're gonna know that we got the extension. By that time, we'll be too late. It'll be too close to 45 days and so we've shut that door. We're gonna have to give up this opportunity. So we're asking council to go ahead and take the steps. We have the resolution to hire bond counsel. And something we need to do at some point, which we might as well do now, is pass a resolution that would allow us to reimburse ourselves, like the engineering that we're spending now. We could reimburse ourselves with bond funds if we wanted to. And then approve a notice of intent that council is planning to approve the bond sale.
In the future.
Yeah, and at the August 11th meeting.
By initiating the resolution, we're not actually paying any bond consultant.
Correct.
yet. Not until we
Right, I mean, you don't, that doesn't come until we actually take the vote in August to do it.
Okay.
And so, I mean, right now, we're still not committed to anything, other than we're leaving this window open. This opportunity is there for the Water Development Board.
Okay.
If in fact they come back and they say, sorry, guys, we just can't extend it, then we have a decision to make in August, to move forward. I mean, I know Wayne and I, Wayne's been, and AECOM, they've been working with TCQ ever since this came up in 2022. And the only reason why we haven't been thrown in, the TCQ hasn't taken us into enforcement with an agreed order and fines and everything is because we have been working with them and keeping them up to date. Albeit it's a lot slower than they would like it to be. But, we're one step, taking step by step. But if we lose this opportunity for the funding, then we would have to start over with an application with Water Development Board, which would cost some money to reapply. And realistically, that takes about a year's time. There's no guarantee that we would be approved again. The other thing that we just all need to think about is that with time, what else is also happening? Generally, the prices are going up. And so we could spend a lot of time trying to delay, and we might end up in the same spot, if not worse than if we just did to begin with.
Ms. Weaver, I got a couple of questions.
Mhm.
So the 30% flow treatment increase, I guess that's what it was, 30%. Is 39, it's going to cost us to treat
No.
30% more?
No. What the 30%, what that means is that $39.15 million.
It's 39.15.
Yes, that was based upon a construction cost estimate the engineers did, and then they tacked 30% contingency on it. Okay, because it was high level. So now they're getting into more detailed design, and so they can know closer what those actual costs are gonna be, but still,
But you quoted 15%. What is that?
yeah, that 50% contingency. So instead of being 30% contingency, now we're gonna have a tighter estimate, but we're still adding contingency because, you know,
There's a lot
AECOM's
of
not
variables.
bidding it. There are other people bidding. So it's customary and actually that's what Texas Water Development Board expects, is that the estimate.
What's the figure at 15? I'm
We
sorry.
don't know yet. That's what they, we do not know yet.
But they're thinking about, it could be a significant.
To my gut feeling, and this is just my gut feeling, I don't know what you think. I'm thinking maybe 32 million.
I'm thinking it's gonna come in
It's
30.
not gonna be like 25. There's no way. I mean,
That's somewhat better.
surely it will be less than 39 million.
So I'm gonna put on here, we don't know.
We don't know right now. They just sent us the 60% drawings, and I think I sent you guys a link to that last Friday. If not, I'll go back and do that because I know I intended to do that because I have a link to the 60% plans in case you're interested in looking at that. What Vinod told me last week, I don't know if he said anything today, but what he told me last week is once they hit 80%, they're not going to give us another deliverable until 90%. But once they internally hit 80%, he will trigger the team that does the cost estimates to start. So we should have a better cost estimate with the 90% construction plans towards the end of June, early part of July.
I know Tim's got this question, the 39.15 or 30 million or 32 million, whatever it lands on. How much more capacity are we, maybe Justin wants to know, how much more capacity?
Twice. We're going from 2 million gallons a day to 4 million gallons a day capacity. Yeah.
Well, since we're asking technical questions, so how much of this 33 or 39 million is going to address the I&I problem that we currently have?
Well, I mean, it doesn't, what it does, it is increases the capacity of what is treatable.
Yeah, but it doesn't address.
It expands the treatment capacity of the plant.
We're
Yeah.
on our I&I study right now.
Well, we've been,
Getting ready to map out the second phase or the third phase of the smoke testing. With another 3 basins to see what we have open in that area for clean outs and broken pipes and what have you.
Is this what you're doing with Doug Hearn or is this something separate?
This is the smoke testing I've been doing.
So my issue is, as council person representing my citizens, I need to know that we're doing the right thing. So what I understand is that we potentially have a 20% base load of I&I that's not sewage that's hitting our plant. And when we have
I'd be curious
doubling.
I'd be curious to see where that number's coming.
So we've been asking for this I&I study since, what, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. We finally, I guess, insisted in October.
It's a year and a half.
It just started in January and we're not finished yet. So really, for me, I need to see the study finished before I can vote for anything. Because if we really do have a 20%, which one engineer thinks that's on the low side, then we may have other issues here that we need to deal with besides building a new plant. And so I don't understand why we can't get this study done.
we can, I mean,
For free,
I know,
so.
We've done everything they've asked of.
yeah, I mean, we've done everything he's asked so far.
I'd come back to me with,
Not setting he's doing it for free on his own good behavior because he likes being a detective.
I understand that. We've given him all the documentation he wanted. We provided him access to everything he's wanted, and we've heard nothing more than
Well-
he doesn't think that the problem is where they're looking.
But if you guys can go to page 67,
Okay.
just so you can see, this is what TCQ is looking at. Okay,
Well, I know.
Can we justify, hey, all this time we've been sucking up river water or whatever.
But
Need to be, can we justify that and change ECQ's mind about what our capacity needs to be?
If it's really there. So I mean, I understand that this may or may not be real, but I don't understand why we can't determine if it's real. I mean, because again, Undyne offered to do this study over a year ago and we just
yeah,
didn't.
but I mean, it's different than offering to give us flow meters is different than doing an INI study, which we can do. I mean, I can go out, I wouldn't need to go out for RFPs or RFQs, hire an engineer to do do an INI study. But my experience has been, because I've done a few INI studies, was involved in Port Lavaca's, I was involved in Victoria's, and never was the answer to solve the INI. The answer is typically you've got to expand the plant because the cost to solve the problem is it's huge because most of the problem is going to be on the private side, which that's what Wayne's to address with the smoke test.
Space load. If there's, I mean, if it's upon the private side, then it's just during a rain event. That's one thing. But if we have if we have a bayou leaking into our sewer system, that is an identifiable area.
Well, I mean.
Say that Doug has ruled out because
Yeah, I mean, we
pulled samples from, there's no saltwater intrusion, nothing.
he doesn't see that.
Different story than I get. So, but I think we need to get this study completed and provide some priority to Doug to help us out. So,
Is that water salty
yes, no,
right there at the plant?
Well, it depends on the tide too, though, right?
Yeah, if the tide's high, maybe, but I can't even see it. Maybe to where the plan is, right at the Baptist church, maybe that far, but nothing beyond that.
I mean, I'll talk
That's
to
a
him
freshwater
again. The last time I talked to him, I got the understanding that he agreed that was not a significant problem.
well, I mean,
To Tim's point, I mean, before we spend $30-40 million, yeah, let's cover all the bases and get this INI test wrapped up. And I don't know what there's better we can do than just smoke testing. There's got to be something.
No, we can go with the full-fledged INI test, but that's another, I mean, we're kicking this can down the road at least another 2.5, 3 years
Well, I mean, what an INI
for the
study
study and
does is
everything.
It's
And then solving the problem, then we got to go through engineering to
was the area
But
that
even the INI study
necessarily.
in the past.
Election system's that bad a shape.
If it turns out to be that the issue is the collection system and we have to, once we identify it, then we have to fix it. So we might be looking at $40 million in a collection system.
Yeah,
so we don't identify it and just not fix it?
No, we identify it and fix it as we go, not all at once.
Well, I think we need to identify it, what the issue is. If there's
well,
an
I
issue,
mean, the way to do that, you have to do an INI and then you do an SSES, which is what, I mean, basically, we're doing the smoke testing portion of the SSES, which is a sewer system evaluation study.
so we had this discussion in October, and now it's June almost. So I'm not really sure about all these things that we have to do. We have an engineer who's volunteering to help us. I get a slightly different message in that I think he's a little bit more hopeful about that. He's not charging us anything.
I know, well, it's, I guess
Ask him to finish.
we just have different experiences.
Okay,
But yeah, and
so, and then that may resolve it. I mean, it probably will resolve it one way or the other.
So let me ask this question. Is there one main feed coming in from, I guess from, what is it, Lynn Haven under the bayou to the plant? Or is it, or through the bayou? Tell me how it feeds to the plant. Could we just isolate that and cover it with plastic and that way nothing could get in there and see if that is our problem?
Well, the feed from the Lynn Haven lift station underneath the bayou is brand new HDPE.
Underneath.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's, it's not actually just laying in the water.
The feed to the main lift station is above the bayou. So if it were leaking into it, we would know.
Okay.
Yeah.
The feed in Brook Hollow is above the bayou, so if it were leaking into it, we would know.
Well, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I just know that he's been looking at the numbers and he thinks, he's got some optimistic.
But I mean,
So,
my impression was, I mean, there is money we have to spend and I mean, they can. We can. We can get a price together. I mean, if they can submit
I mean, I don't want to spend money if we don't need to. I mean, let's just talk to Doug and, I mean, he's got a lot of data, and maybe.
and we're willing to give him whatever.
Oh, there's nothing in this for him. So, I mean.
Right.
He doesn't have a sewer bill here.
No.
He doesn't. So, but, I mean, we had 3 companies come in and evaluate our plant for the potential sale, and all 3 of them said that they would not be building a new plant. They would be doing some optimization and spending a few $1 million, but all of them said, we do not need a new plant.
But
They didn't spend a whole lot of time looking at data, so, they're going to say what they want to say. But still, that's feedback that we have. We have an engineering company, AECom, who makes money off doing engineering studies and developing engineering plans. So, they're not exactly an independent party here. We went through this with Undyne and with GBRA. Everybody said we need a new plant. Obviously, we don't need a new plant. We saved a lot of money there. Everybody was traveling the same road to Abilene on that one until a couple of people stood up and said, we don't need a new plant. We don't have a new plant. I don't want to be going down the same thing here.
well, the only thing that I say is again, with TCQ's rules, you have to start engineering once you've hit 75% of capacity for 3 months. So
Understand?
that I don't think we can argue we haven't triggered. Even if you take 20% off of these flows in 2021, some of that we're still at 2 or higher, but we're clearly at 75%. So I think there's no argument that part that we had to start engineering. So yeah, the question is, when do we actually have to start construction? And so we have, we've appealed to TCQ with this data. I mean, we can, and I'll talk to Doug again. Is there more information we need to get him? It's just, I know that there's a whole study involved, not just, I mean, you got to do something with the data and somebody's got to write a report. And I don't have time to do that. So are we going to hire an engineer
Or pushes it 10 years down the road so that the people who are here then can pay for it?
I don't see 10 years here though, especially with the development that may be coming.
I don't see 10 years either, Tim, but
That's the other.
it feels like we could have, a break. And by that time, VEDC is gonna have our place completely
Yeah.
compensated.
I like your optimism.
I like that. That's the first. So I mean, we need to move forward with what we're doing now,
Right.
but I'm just saying, this has been going on for a long time. Let's just complete it and then, we can put some of this to rest.
Okay, so
So this guy, Doug, should we pay him to come and kind of give us his opinion? Although he's doing the work free, but maybe we could offer him something to come to council.
well, we need to have,
Let's find out what his constraint is. So,
yeah, I will talk to him.
okay. I don't want to get him in trouble.
I would like him to come up and just have him just share a little bit more again about the mechanics of the Water Development Board loan, why we're doing what we're doing now, and, what happens or what our options are if Water Development Board doesn't give us the extension or if they do.
Okay. Again, Dusty Trailer with RBC Capital Markets. We've had the honor and privilege of representing the city of Port Lavaca as financial advisor for many years.
Man.
And I apologize for being late. I had to be on the other side of the hill country this afternoon and drove down.
That's okay. We had a
So-
city council.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that if I don't answer your questions in my remarks, please, I'm happy to join in the dialogue on this topic. the item I was asked to come down and speak on is this notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation, which is in relationship to the Texas Water Development Board award for their financial assistance for the construction of the wastewater treatment plant in the dollar amount of $39,150,000. As you guys know, the Water Board approved that application last summer and gave the city a one-year timeline with which to access the funding. That funding is scheduled to expire. And if I'm being redundant based on what you've already discussed, I'm sorry.
No,
That funding is scheduled to, or the funding allowance that the Water Board's award will expire on August 31st of this year if the city does not close on the loan to for the financial assistance. So the item before you guys tonight is related to this. I think as Jody may have discussed, the city has submitted to the Texas Water Development Board a request for an extension on that award, requesting if they extend that award out to, I believe, March 31st of 2026, with the hope that that would give the city more time to study options. And then if at that time, the city could then go forward with the financing if that was the option that y'all chose to move forward with. However, there is some possibility that the Water Board would say, no, y'all have had a year. We're not going to grant the extension. And if you don't close on the loan before August 31st, then the award is null and void. Sorry.
In your experience, has that ever happened?
I don't know I would not be telling you the truth if I knew the answer to that question. In my experience, I have not seen that happen, but I cannot tell you that it hasn't happened.
and this is kind of new too, because they used to do multi-year commitments.
Correct.
This is new that they're only doing a 1 year.
That's
Yeah.
in a lot of situations, you had more time previously.
Yeah.
The water board really is, they are interested in giving those awards and then seeing that money put to work. There's a whole host of reasons for that. And part of that has to do with their cost of funds in general. They themselves have to go out in a lot of ways and borrow money themselves. And it's from that borrowed money that they borrow that they're then lending it out to the cities at their discounted rates. And so they've got to tie their borrowings in with timing and issuance. There's a whole host of issues here. So if the water board does not grant the extension, then a fallback to kind of keep you moving forward would be to approve a notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation with a sale date of August 11th. And in speaking with the city's bond attorney, they believe that if we were to approve the sale of those certificates of obligation on August the 11th, that we could then close on those before the August 31st deadline. So that's the reason for the notice of intent, is to just on the outside chance, and I would agree, I think it is an outside chance that they don't approve the extension request. But if they don't approve the extension request, it allows you to keep this ball moving before that award expires.
So when we close on it, how soon do we have to start paying interest payments on it?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
For payment, so
Yes, sir.
payments for 6 months.
That's right.
That's why I'm hoping if we get the extension, get the rate study done, and we can implement those rates January of 2026, and then we would have the revenue needed to make that first bond payment.
And so if I may kind of getting into that, what do the interest payments look like? Because you would probably structure this certificate of obligation such that you're really not making principal payments on the loan for the first couple of years while you're in the construction process. So interest on this loan right now, at least the way we've run our preliminary numbers, indicate that a 1 year's worth of interest would be between about 1.4 million and 1.46 million. That would be for 1 year's interest. That's a 3.75% interest rate. I think it's a little conservative based on
that rating again?
3.75. That's a little conservative, I think, based on what we'd likely end up getting from the water board. I think we'd end up being a little bit less than that, but we wanted to be conservative. So half of a year's interest, if we were extended into March, we'd still likely end up having to pay half a year's interest in the 26 fiscal year. Half a year's interest would be somewhere in the $700,000, $725,000, $730,000 range for fiscal 2026.
But for 6 months, we have $39 million sitting in the bank account.
Yes,
Do they give it to us? They
you've
don't,
got to make draw requests.
they don't give it to us.
Right.
It's not set in an account.
It's in their account. We make
But
draw
it's-
requests on it.
So if we're, okay, so if we don't spend it all, we're not earning any interest on the,
I'll go back and double check that. I'll go back and-
I don't think that, I think,
I think that's part of the water board program.
yeah,
that's what keeps it low.
yes.
Okay, so I'll go back and check on that for you.
An interest though.
But there's no, if we do the notice of intent, there's no obligation at this. I'm
Not yet.
Obligated to do nothing. We
Right.
don't even have to meet again.
Tonight, but August 11th, we're obligated.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
obligated to make a decision, or
Yeah,
or we
if it's
pass
extended.
it, if in fact we get the extension, August 11th can come and go.
Then come and go is moot. If we
Okay.
find out in June that we get the extension, August 11th, can
See, and ideally, I was trying to time this to where we didn't even have to do this.
correct.
Because we had delays and because we didn't want to ask Water Development Board for the extension until we have had a conversation with TCQ. And then we had several month delay in finding the right people with TCQ to even talk to. And so that delayed us enough that we couldn't get this request to Water Development Board in time to avoid doing this.
But I mean, from our perspective, we're hopeful that this extension is granted, giving the city the time to do the necessary studies and hopefully find value in engineering or value in what your ultimate project is, right? That's $100 price tag. That's a big pill to swallow. There's no question about it, right? So instead of rushing out to do 39,150, I think the idea being we give ourselves more time, but we want to be in a position to give the city the opportunity. If the water board says, nope, if you're going to take it, you got to take it now. Give the city the opportunity to say yes or no at that point.
No, this new plant may clean up that water enough to where we can sell it to Mobil, Exxon, or like cooling water.
They were asking.
Well, there's not enough of it. That's-
Well,
we need a whole lot.
They could do that from, well, that'd be a partial source.
A barge and then we get business at Harbor Refuge. I like the way you think.
Okay. I think there should be a market for that water average in stream. Because
Oh, yeah.
they don't need
They're-
clean water, to cool their equipment down.
I mean, there's,
Exxon is looking into that.
Bridge in the, between us and them.
All it requires is a pipeline. We've had a contract for our effluent before.
Natural gas pipeline. We could just pump parts of it too.
They built the pipe.
But no, I really believe that. It's a source of water that they could use. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, we'll get back with Doug. I mean, I was looking through some emails, trying to go back last time. And we had sent him some data and he was trying to digest it. And he had a
Was that
couple
done?
questions. Yeah, and had a couple questions that we answered and then we hadn't heard anything. So I'll get back with him and see if he's gleaned any more information on what we sent him.
If the engineering comes back much less, we can reduce the amount of the bond.
Sure, yeah. I mean, but again, I think that's why I was hoping, give us more time to, the plans will probably be complete, ready to bid, September-ish, I'm thinking, and then, we could go ahead and bid and we would know. Because last thing we wanted, okay, we're estimating 32 million and the bids come in 36 million.
But if we ask for more and didn't need it all, I mean, we can return it without too much penalty, right?
If we,
If we don't spend it all? What happens if you don't spend it all?
the bonds will have a normal call feature on them where it's, it's a 10-year call feature. So the point is that Yeah, likely, we can pay it back, but it'd be a little technical paying it back. We can figure out a way to pay back what we don't need, but we're,
From, yeah, the information,
but I'll tell you, you know,
like instantaneous.
Each time you make a draw, that's a new bond? That, I guess I don't understand how that.
No,
no, not each time you, but you have to make a draw request, right? So once you sell the bond, you have a debt service obligation outstanding for the full 39,150. Then as the project moves along, you have to make draw requests.
actually,
It's hard to say, to the water board, to receive the money, to authorize the spending of
We're
it.
spending the interest regardless, whether we use it or not.
and there's certain, milestones we have to reach before we can even
Make draw requests.
make certain progress.
Milestones on the building of the project.
Engineering, the environmental, and that's why we went ahead and paid for the engineering. Remember, because we had this discussion before that we could borrow this money. We couldn't get any of it until we got the engineering anyway. And so we'll just pay for the engineering and then once, because we can't have to do the engineering, the environmental information document is on critical path. And they are working on that simultaneously with the engineering documents. And so we should have that this summer as
We're
well.
gonna do a resolution tonight to allow us to pay ourselves back.
Yes.
We have X amount of dollars at First National that we on a certain amount of interest on. I'm not gonna put it out in public.
Yeah.
So we actually borrow half of that and pay back at 3.75 and make interest on our own loan that we're making to ourselves, and we won't have to borrow as much from DECQ or whoever we're borrowing from.
I don't.
Are you trying to say like, when we reimburse ourselves back from the loan, take that money and then put it into First National to gain
Yeah,
interest?
just pay it back and we can pay it back at whatever. rate.
Well, I mean, you're right. It could give us some seed money, certainly, because it's $1.36
That way we
million
wouldn't have-
dollars, but that's still, that might help us for the first year.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to borrow as much.
I
That
want to put it in
wouldn't affect our-
First National.
No, I mean,
Maybe one.
no.
It wouldn't affect our- You know, our constituents wants us to do the best we can with what we got.
So you're taking no interest money, spending it and then paying ourselves back at an interest rate, which is,
3.75.
as long as we don't, go past our, 4 months. Have to structure that though somehow, right? You can't just do that.
Nobody likes it.
Getting expensive.
I really think it's a possibility too. Oh, you wanted us to turn to page 67?
Yeah, I mean, that just shows the history of, the monthly discharge rates.
Oh, I see.
And the yellow shows where we're over 75%. Red, we were over 90%. And you can see in 2021, we were actually over capacity. And Wayne, I noticed there's one in 2022. I don't know if that's a typo or not. November of 2022 was 2.17.
There's actually two. There's 1.97 and 2.17.
Yeah, those both should be red.
It really looks like the meters were broken in 21 and 22, and we got them fixed in 23 and 24.
That's what we should have, it's too late. We should have said that.
Yeah, I mean, this coincided with all the activity going on at Formosa with, when we had all the people in town. And that's one of,
They kept breaking our meters.
one reason why I really want to, or one of the things I'm trying to see if we can accomplish in this rate study is, talking with the consultant that has a lot more experience, obviously, than I do in these sorts of things. And is there a way that we can better capture or create a rate structure that captures the additional load that rental properties are putting on our sewer system. And in other words, I mean, this was a result that we didn't gain any new customers from which to spread this around, but each of our houses may had 10 contractors in them. So there is a way to address rental properties that have they would pay some sort of a scale different than residential. I mean, a single family home that has 2.3 people in it is one thing. A single family home, which technically isn't a single family home anymore, if it's got, 12 people renting rooms out of it. And they're using a whole lot more sewer and water than the other.
Saying you're against our ordinance. Parking.
No, the idea is to create a rate structure that fairly reflects who's using
Services. Though that household with 10 people will be getting charged more than the household next to it.
Yes. Yes, but only not because of the number of people, but because it's rental property with the way it's fashioned.
So when we go and get rid of the base, 2,000 gallons, everybody pays for the amount they use.
Well, it would be your base rate would be structured such that the base rate for rental properties would be different than the base rate for single family home.
Okay.
This is just brainstorming on my part.
Base takes care of the infrastructure needs and then.
Yes.
You pay for the gallon.
Correct. You want to get all your fixed costs
I'm kind of
in your
thinking
base rate.
if you had 10 people in a house, they're gonna be paying more than 2 people.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be paying some of the volumetric, correct, but I don't know. And that's where it takes more data than I can, or time for me to go through the numbers. But in theory, is that enough to account for the fact that we've got to increase the sewer plant? Because at that time, it was a short-lived thing. Now, hopefully, this time going to have an increase, but then it's gonna translate into more customers. See, last time it didn't translate into any new customers. We just translated into more sewer use, but again, we're we do sewer averaging. So in the winter, let's say nobody was at the house, and that's what we're charging them sewer for the whole year for that. But then all these people move in, and now all year long, they're using all this sewer, and we're not capturing anything for it.
But the rate study, we need that regardless.
Correct.
Independent of the plant, we need a rate study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got the proposal. I plan on bringing that to council on the 9th.
What do we,
Looking at this chart, I mean, some of these numbers, the rain events, there's a pretty good spike in volume once you get above a certain level of rain. So some of that.
I mean, some of this could be rain, yeah. But like in 2021, I don't think we had 6 months of heavy rain events.
Is that a promotion project?
I mean, it's corresponding with.
if we get a big project, we need to get creative on our rates.
Yeah, that's good.
But let's go ahead and make a motion, right? And then,
We're still on agenda 1. He needs to call the next agenda items.
well, I thought okay.
But I mean,
We had to do the
this
notes.
is the overall discussion, and then we can. So we would,
No action on.
no action on agenda item 1, move on.
I think we all know where we stand.
And Wayne and I will get with Doug and make sure that he's got everything he needs.
Not saying anything bad. There's nothing bad there. We just need to up the priority.
Yeah. No, I understand.
It's all good.
See with the bonding resolution.
We have to hire bigger staff.
Well, Move to agenda item number 2, consider resolution number R-052725-1 of the city of Port Lavaca, authorizing the hiring of Bickerstaff E. Delgado Acosta LLP for on a contingent fee basis as bond counsel for the city of Port Lavaca.
So there is a resolution in here that just needs to be approved or we're.
Once we do this, when do we actually start paying? This is just to allow us to do it, but we don't, we're not doing it until after August or?
6 months after August, right? If that's.
Their fees would work like our fees in that we don't get paid until you actually do a bond deal. That should be the same way that they get paid. When it says contingent, it should contingent on closing of a bond deal. And it would just get paid out of the proceeds of the bonds. It should not be. I don't.
August 30th, actually.
Yeah, we're on the 30th, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion.
That'd be my understanding.
Somebody has a objection, consider resolution number R-052725-1 of City of Port Lavaca authorizing the hiring of Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Acosta LLP on a contingent fee basis as bond counsel to the city of Port Lavaca.
I will second this and hope that it's just a hollow resolution and we don't even have to use it.
There you go. We can be helpful.
That part of the resolution?
Yes, it is right now.
We have a motion and a second. Approving resolution number R-052725-1 of the city of Port Lavaca authorizing the hiring of Bickerstaff E. Delgado Acosta fee on a contingent fee basis as bond counsel for the city of Port Lavaca. As presented, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
Hey, aye.
Unopposed?
You're opposed?
Yeah, I don't want to raise sewer rates.
For you. So can I ask why we picked Bickerstaff? I mean, is there a reason over anybody else?
No, I mean, we've always used them with this.
Y'all have worked with them for many, many years as your bond attorney. And as it relates to this Texas Water Development Board financial assistance program, they've actually already done a fair amount of work on it.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay. Okay, so Alan voted
So to
against it.
clarify, okay, you made the motion.
Yeah.
But you, hey,
Y'all want to be able to vote on it.
okay, well, that's fine. I just wanted to clarify.
Everybody knows where they stand, so let's vote on it.
Okay,
All right.
so one night.
Resolution passes. We'll move to agenda item number 3. Consider resolution number R-052725-2 of the city of Port Lavaca expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred by the city of Port Lavaca's Lands Bayou Water Treatment Plant Expansion, Texas Water Development Board Project number 73963. Jody?
Well, this is a resolution that we're required to adopt if in fact we want to have the option to reimburse ourselves for the money that we've spent on engineering with bond proceeds. Basically, simply put.
Vote for that.
Like that.
I'll second it. Yeah, we can read it out, Tim. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I second it.
Did do that.
We have a motion and a second approving resolution number 052725-2, the city of Port Lavaca expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred by the city of Port Lavaca's Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unopposed?
I voted for it. I want to get paid back.
Of course.
Move to agenda item number 4, consider resolution number R-052725-3 of the city of Port Lavaca authorizing publication of notice of intent to issue combination tax and surplus revenue certificates of obligation the Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion project, which project is identified as the Texas Water Development Board, project number 73963.
So why do we have to do this one now?
So you have to do it 45 days, at least 45 days prior to the date that you would actually vote on it. We're giving the public notification that right now we have this intent, we might doing this, it gives them 45 days to make.
We don't really have to do it today.
I mean, we'd have to bring it back. I mean, right now, we figured out, since it has to be a regular meeting, we have to do it August 11th, because the July regular meeting would be too soon.
Your July regular meeting is on what day again?
July, I think that was too soon, because July regular meeting is the 14th.
That's too soon.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this is it. I mean, we could probably maybe next week still do this notice of intent, but we can't wait until the July meeting to do the notice of intent.
It's not 45 days from the date that the council approves the notice. It's 45 days
From
from
the publication,
published in the paper.
right? And our publication will be next Wednesday.
And then, so you think next Wednesday is the start of the 45-day clock.
Yeah.
It's June, July, so that's over 67 days.
To the August meeting,
To the arts.
to the August meeting.
70 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's, that's right.
In June would be,
By June, it would be, if you did it on June, it would be published on the 18th of June. 30, I mean, that's cutting it pretty close.
If our sale date was August 11th and you published it on June the 18th, you would have time in the 45-day window.
Okay. I think originally we were looking at trying to push it back before August 11th, but then when I realized it was a ordinance, then we don't have a choice. It's got to be August 11th. Because I think Dusty was a little nervous that we were having enough time to do it by the end of August, but we don't have a choice. But it's going to happen. That's all we got.
Correct.
So we have a motion?
Somebody motion.
Somebody.
Oh.
Because, and again, Water Development Board's meeting is until the 26th, so it doesn't do us any good
Oh, I didn't say that.
to wait till June meeting.
Say what?
I said that,
I said they were waiting.
Yeah, it is. What difference would it be if we do it now or later? What's it do?
We're gonna have to do something.
Not just the time up. We do it later. Let's get it out.
I mean, like I said, you could still do it on the 9th, but you're not gonna have any new information. Because the Water Development Board won't let us know. They don't meet till June 26th. And that would be too late.
But still, there's no obligation here, so
There's no obligation at this point.
I'll make a motion that we consider resolution number R-052725-3 of the city of Port Lavaca authorizing publication of notice of intention to issue combination tax and surplus revenue certificates of obligation for the Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion project, which is identified as the Texas Water Development Board project number 73963.
The motion is to approve the resolution.
Yes.
Daniel seconds. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number R-052725-3, the city of Port Lavaca authorizing the publication of notice of intent to issue combination tax and surplus revenue certificates of obligation for the Lens Bayou wastewater treatment plant expansion project as presented. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign.
Aye.
2 opposed.
Clark and Tippett.
No,
Ben,
Dan.
Him and just
or
her again.
Dan and Garth, okay. Make sure.
4-2, motion passes, resolution passes. Okay. Now, it's this time that we are going to pass agenda item number 5.
we're gonna pass on it.
Yeah, the municipal judge's attorney wanted to be here to address council, could not be here tonight. So that's Jody to move it to our next meeting,
Not the ninth though, right?
not tonight, so he's.
No, not the ninth.
Not tonight. The ninth,
The 9th of June, not the 9th of
2 dates possible, don't we have?
The second or the ninth. Yeah.
second. I'll be in Belize.
Yeah, he hasn't this morning I emailed him about the second, but he never responded.
Thank you.
Report in sufficient due process to be here to get.
And the ninth, I will be going too.
Who's gonna be gone?
I'll be gone on the 2nd.
And I'll be going on the ninth.
Oh,
I'll be back on the 9th. She'll be here on the 2nd.
well, you guys tell me.
I'll be going on the second too.
Okay.
He could do, he could be available by, what you call it, June?
Where?
The attorney.
I don't know.
And she won't be here, so.
No, tonight by Zoom.
Oh, well, it's a little. Yeah, it's a good idea though.
Actually, I'm good on the second.
Oh,
Okay.
because we're gonna delay it till the end of June or mid-June. Otherwise, I'd like to have some input on it.
Yeah, today would have been good.
I'm ambivalent on this one.
Well, what's to say he don't just not show up next time either?
He will.
Is it?
This
That'll be on him.
Well, why don't you see what best date you can come up?
Yeah, all he told me was, he thought it would be a good idea to postpone it to a later meeting, maybe a special meeting later in June. Then I have back.
Yeah, he just skipped a special meeting, pretty much skipped past our regular meeting. And so he's thinking end of June.
Second is in June. Who's the attorney? This is a time sensitive subject, so yeah.
He's still
let's
holding
move on it
court. I
quick.
mean, it's not like work's not being done, so he's still holding court. So I make a motion to adjourn.
Before you guys leave, I do have some reading material. June 2nd.
We can give you plenty of time to.
Closed session.
When did you coming back?
We get a second.
Last closed session.
Justin, would you like to make a second to adjourn?
Sure. Okay, there you go. Oh, she has, let her pass on.
Yeah.
So you guys.
Vote on it.
Jody.
Well,
About the
it doesn't have to be part of it.
for next Monday. I'm kind of like Jeff.
Yeah, check your emails. I did send an email today about a land use, workshop in August.
Oh, yeah,
In case are interested in going on, I mean,
August 21st, 22nd.
Round Rock, right?
yeah.
The sooner y'all tell us, the better, so we can get y'all a good location as part of the hotel and so we can ensure that we are able to register you. Because I don't know if they have a max or, how them register.
I mean, it's just, yeah, if you're interested in going, it's.
It's a whole bunch of stuff.
So,
Yeah, I already got you.
You coming back from Belize?
Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting.
I'll be back in town.
Some of the new laws and stuff that, you know,
I'm coming on the 7th.
that's one.
So why can't we do it like on a Thursday?
what are we doing?
Setting,
So the red is the additions,
Yes.
But I'm back on Friday, the 6th.
so lined out, so there's nothing deleted that's not lined out.
Everything with the stripes is.
There's nothing else deleted.
What about? Today is what?
Well, I would never,
What about this coming Thursday?
things happen.
I don't think we haven't,
That's notice time.
right.
Do we have to do that? Isn't it gonna be closed session? We don't have to.
Yes.
I have this next Tuesday. Have to have a 72-hour.
Right.
All right, let everybody out there. Have a motion, a second to adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign, you're not opposed, motion passes.
When are you going